evening, folks. Welcome to the Omega Files. I'm your host, Dr. Freedom. And tonight we've gathered to have a little talk about an episode called Oxygen. All right. So in order to save time, since we got a lot of people here, when I call your name, go ahead and just go right into your opening thoughts on the episode. Let's start off this week with Callan.
Oh, yeah. Now come to me first. Okay. I like the episode, quite good. I like how the series is. It's really getting into sort of science fiction instead of science nonsense, which it used to be. And yeah, I like the interplay at the start of it with the Doctor and Nardole back and forth with their comedy routine. Yeah, I like that. All right, that's enough from me.
Okay, Doctor Commentator.
There we go. Well, after last week's episode of Great Suspense, this just built the suspense even more. This was certainly had me on the edge of my seat. Didn't know what I was going to do. And I'm not sure we've ever really had an episode before with the concept of what's keeping you alive may also kill you. And admittedly, the ending also took me by surprise as well. I mean, when we saw the fit look like Bill died, I was like, well, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be like last weekend. They're all going to come back to life. And then suddenly, oh, no, it's just Bill. Okay, so that's interesting. And on top of this, they have set up the next episode with the Doctor being blind now. I think, wow, that... I don't even know where to go from there. So that's me done.
Okay, Nightwing.
While the others have said they enjoyed it, I actually did not at all. The only thing I kind of enjoyed was Nardole's, being a comedian, being comical. That's the only thing I actually enjoyed in the whole episode.
Okay, very short but sweet. All right, Philip Archer.
It's Archer, not Parcher. Anyway, it was okay. I found it a little bit talky for the most part. There were some good action parts with the zombies. Well, if you want to call them zombies, they are. I like the idea of how you got the sensation of Bill being exposed to space and her slowly more or less suffocating and dying. That was a very good thing to show. I would have liked to have seen the Doctor lose his eyesight rather than we cut scene and then we see that he's blind. I want to see how that actually came about. The fact that he's blind now will sort of leads me to the point that he's going to have to regenerate to some degree to fix those eyesight now. So I'm sticking to to fix that.
Oh, is that a double or nothing bet?
No, I'm just saying it. All right. Story. It's a good little space romp. And Nardole was very good in this as well, being comical, and also knowing the AI woman. That's kind of a nice little dip in there. So,
Velma.
Yeah, Velma. Yeah.
And Philip Archer digging himself in deeper. All right, let's go to Kevin.
Well, I honestly liked this episode. When I saw the last week episode, it was, of course, very creepy. But this episode is more suspenseful. And yeah, at the end, that the Doctor is still blind, that was a shocker. So yeah, I liked it.
Alrighty. Let's go over to William.
You know, everybody. This was a great episode. I gotta give Jamie Matheson's thumbs up because this is 4 for 4 for him. I was very. I noticed that there weren't really zombies. It's the suit was still being used by the computer and making the movements and all that because the body's already dead. So it was just a suit. But what's funny is that a computer took over was programmed to do all these sort of things to the humans, just like the same thing a computer was being done in the Mummy on the Orient Express. So I said, damn, it'd be funny if Jamie Mathis writes it as the same company that's doing this. I mean, it'd be funny if he does that. It was spooky what happened to Bill. I thought, holy smoke, how is this gonna get solved? So it was good to see luckily that faulty suit of hers saved her in a funny way. Not for in any of the story that the Doctor turned out blind. I mean, it's not. He's a Time Lord, so I don't know how his physiology can comprehend what the blind is and all that, because all of us who knows about the Time Lords, all that, we never seen a Time Lord in any way. I'm handicapped or any incapacitation in any kind. So probably there's a way for him to get his sight back little by little. But we find that out next week. I'm not worried about that now. But I got to give props up to Jamie Mathis. This is a great story. And Nardo stood out because he was doing his job that he was told to do by the doctor to safeguard the vote downstairs. So he was doing his job. And he stood out pretty good in this episode. I got to give him props on that. So that's it for now.
Okay. Moving on to Graham.
Hey, I can carry well in there. This is 4 out of 4 for Jamie Matheson. Stupendous stuff. The interplay between Capaldi and Lucas in this was just top notch. I loved it. You had a bit of atmosphere, you had a bit of suspense, and you had the whole aspect of conglomeration up against the human life. So nice wee plot device there. The end result of the blindness, I'll be interested to see how that pans out. They've taken something sublimely simple and they've given him a handicap now. So I'm interested to see how that's gone in the next 2-3 episodes down the road, or however long it lasts. I don't think they'll drag out all the way to episode 12, but it's a nice wee plot device to see how he handles it the next episode or two going forward. So top notch.
All right, Beefhead.
To sort of give a proper opinion, I may have to switch to an alternative means of presentation.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no!
So I'm going to change to suit cam.
Holy shit!
For me, the principals won it for me. They really acted their socks off. I didn't really care about the survivors on the craft. I found them sort of surplus and one-dimensional. As far as I was really looking forward to this because Jamie Matheson has done such sterling work in the past, but this one I found sort of like I didn't have much of a feeling either way to it. I did feel the resolution with Bill at the end was a bit of a cop-out. I noticed it at the start that there just wasn't enough power of the suit to poison her fully, and she comes back to life. That I felt a bit, short-changed on, to be honest with you. Nardo was definitely, I think, really interesting in the fact that he said, I only chose this face when I was on the run. And then he sort of made the very awkward, if I was stealing something comment when he went through that in the middle. So there's more to his story, I suppose, coming along the pipe, which is what we were expecting. One interesting thing I did like about it, what they've done with making the Doctor blind, is that Capaldi is very much a facially expressive actor. He does a lot with his eyes and how he looks and everything like that. So when you take that out of the equation, he's still a very commanding performer, but it gives him a different dynamic. So from that, it's good. But overall, I wasn't feeling it this week. I think that the idea of sticking it to the man and everything like that, the sort of, the idea of the blue jokes about the racism thing, we've already had a companion of colour, so it's sort of, we don't need to do any more on the discrimination point. I think it was done really effectively in things. It was a point that didn't need to be made. I think for me, it's just been a bit of a filler episode, not necessarily the greatest. What could I do more about oxygen? I did prepare a small experiment that I will share with you. Hang on 1 second. Swapping away from Super Suit Cam is basically what it was I thought, well, what happens? Because none of us will ever travel to space, and what happens when you remove oxygen from the equation? So what I did was I got 2 kittens. And put them in a little box. Box 1, I put holes in, and sort of,
Oh.
See there? Yeah, it's still alive and still making noise. Box 2, no holes, completely airtight. But it's sleeping, so no oxygen. Just makes you sleepy, really. So don't believe everything that you see on television, kids.
Yeah, all I can say is watch out. Schrodinger's got timestamps on that, ain't he? Okay.
Karen is going to kill you.
Okay, AJ. Unmute yourself, AJ.
Yeah.
You there?
There you go. Yep.
Yep. I really like this episode. It reminded me of the Almost People, where the doppelgangers and whatnot.
Oh God.
Where I know it was a bad story, but it felt like that with the technology taking over and having. Also, like the space thing, where every breath basically you take is going to kill you. I mean, every breath we're taking right now is actually killing us anyway because oxygen is corrosive. So, and also the whole fact thing, how the pressure and moving of atmosphere and all. It was just a really heavy science-driven story as far as I was concerned. And I like the whole thing with Nardole. He's on comedy, off seriousness, comedy again, off again. And at the end with Capaldi being blind was just beautiful because you could almost see in his face, he's just distraught by the fact that he can't see the wonders that are around him, even if they're on Earth or not. So I think it's going to be a powerful episode for the next one where he's blind until he self-heals or partially regenerates, whatever he does. But yeah, this was a good one.
Fab, just got a boner.
Okay, Susan and Alex.
Thanks. I really, I thought that the Star Trek references were great. I thought that the opening closing doors thing was funny. I thought it was amazing. It was sort of like Deep Space Nine, where Quark was selling oxygen, and it was like capitalism driven, economics driven science fiction with a level a level playing field amongst all the people in the episode. And I love how Jamie Matheson said that the thing that he was going to write first for that spot was so much darker that he's like thinking about doing something else with it. Anyway, that was from this Reddit. And so I really love that this was, he went into zombie territory. He went into the darkness and he brought it, and he brought science fiction. He brought some of the other things. It was a great fan mashup for me. I was impressed. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to start with. And Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but it was also filler. It did have some interesting moments, so I don't know if they were trying to do a mashup of like Robots of Death, but the corporation and the suits of the death component or the death instrument. I don't know if they were trying to do an homage to the Sunmakers with the capitalism angle. I don't know if they were trying to, do the old trope about technology turning against you. Of course, that's been talked about a lot of times in Doctor Who. So, it had some interesting points and had some interesting tropes, and they were trying to turn it on its head and things like that. I mean, like I said, it is a little bit of filler because they probably just need an episode. As far as making the Doctor blind, that's sort of a TV plot. That's a device that they've used also, as a trope too. But at least it gives Capaldi something else to do. So we'll see how he handles it for 2 or 3 episodes before he gets his sight back.
Yeah, and Texas Tim.
Well, at first I was worried when I saw the preview for this that it's going to be, okay, Doctor Who finally does zombies. They're going to jump on that train when it's really been so much over and done with for about 5 years now. I mean, zombies are just tiresome and boring. But fortunately, that's not what they did. They made it was nothing to do with zombies, and I'll have to get back with you.
Ding, ding.
Yeah, sadly, Texas Tim's been called away. We'll get back to him when he returns. Yeah, I really enjoyed that twist. You're watching the clip, say, oh, God, yeah, they're going down the zombie road. Oh. But it turns out, no, it's the suits. And the scary part is you really can't go with it. It's the technology gone wrong. It's the suits are doing what they've been told to do.
Yep.
Basically, the villains are capitalism.
Exactly. The big fat cats, who are still literally selling oxygen by the breath. That is just so freaking scary. You've only got so many breaths for you run out. You got so many breaths to make it to that door. That right there was creeping the shit out of me because, you're sitting there going, okay, 1, 2.
Count along.
You're starting to count them off in your head, like, what the hell? That really added on to the suspense element.
Here's a funny question. Do you keep the suit on to sleep or something like that? Because if they're there for a while, they have to sleep and, of course, use the bathroom and stuff like that. So where the oxygen's going to come from while you're doing that?
Okay, let's get back to Texas Tim now that he's back with us. All right, go on ahead, Tim.
So I was relieved that it wasn't that kind of zombie. I mean, instead it was something entirely different where you have really dead people just being used by suits. I thought it was a fun episode. I thought it moved pretty quickly. It really reminded me, this whole series has been like classic type stories where it's just, you can imagine the Doctor with Leela and K9 in this story instead of the team you have now, which is a very good team. I think, as everybody said, Nardole was very good in this. I agree with Beefhead to a certain extent that don't really hit the politics so hard on the head. I mean, it's one thing to infer something, like was mentioned in the Sunmakers. That was like an anti-tax kind of story, and it was very clever and funny. If you're gonna be so anti-capitalism, you really shouldn't be so, I don't know, on the nose with it. And there we go again.
Ooh.
Sadly, it's a busy night down there in Corpus Christi.
Can I just say something to correct William? But he said how we've never seen a Time Lord with a handicap. I'm kind of nitpicking here, but in The Deadly Assassin, there was actually a Time Lord who mentioned having a bad hip. So yeah, there has been a Time Lord.
Well, I meant like say like like say what I meant like a blind Time Lord or somebody
deaf.
Deaf, can't mute and stuff like that.
All right, fair enough.
It was the Time Lord that was being escorted to the outer reaches, and he said, "Young man, when I reach 10,000 or some age like that." Wasn't that the guy?
I was about to say Invasion of Time. Yes, when you had the Andred escorting the old Time Lord out, and he needed help walking. So it's not an uncommon occurrence. It's just, didn't Peter Davison like hang around outside a spaceship for quite a while, all the way back in 4 to Doomsday?
Yeah.
But he has he can breathe for 6 seconds or whatever.
He had a helmet on.
Hang on.
Yeah, he had that funky helmet, but it didn't look like it had much protection to it. Maybe it had some shield on. I don't know, but
that was the 80s. They didn't have CGI.
Yeah.
There's also the handicap of Peter Davison's doctor needing the celery to help him detect gases that he's allergic to. So that's a handicap.
Someone tell me which Doctor was Invasion of Time.
The fourth.
It was Tom Baker. Yeah.
Well,
blasphemy.
No. Yeah, didn't John Pertwee
eject him from the call right now? Yeah.
Didn't John Pertwee say that an aspirin could kill him? Didn't he say that to Joe or Sarah Jane or something?
That's his body having an allergic reaction to that.
That's a biology thing.
Yeah, it might have been a white lie.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Well, they claim their body's a miracle. They are fallible. They do have physical weaknesses.
Well, that's the thing.
Otherwise, they wouldn't regenerate.
Is this the open conversation? I do think the Doctor can regenerate his eyes by themselves. He did it with his hand once, didn't he? So I mean, it's.
Yeah, but he was already in the process of regeneration.
Yeah, he still had 15 hours.
No, but remember, just last year we saw what he did with Davros. I mean, he loaned him a bit. He can conjure some up if he needs to. And so
again, he was in the process of regeneration after being shot by a Dalek.
Not when he healed River Song's arm all the way.
Exactly.
Back.
He can conjure up enough energy probably to fix his eyes. I mean, without having to do the whole body. So I'm guessing it's not a biggie at this point.
But let's throw you this one. Like I said, I'm sounding a bit conspiratorial here, but what if Nardole did it on purpose?
Did what?
Did what on purpose?
Handicapped him so you don't leave Earth. It's sinister. I'm just saying, maybe not. But I was just thinking, wouldn't that be a clever freaking way to make sure he doesn't go running around?
I don't know. by the end of the
what-
episode, of him berating him when he's in the office and everything like that, and I don't think that seemed like a sort of a fake exchange, because you do have that sort of 1 minute of pathos from where he's actually admitting to himself that he can't see, and Nardo at that point seems like he has no idea. So
I do think that Nardole is the canine type companion as well. He's not going to do anything to harm his master. He's just going to do what's expected of him, which is to actually say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. We have a job here to do, and you shouldn't be bouncing around with all these chickies. So, hey, stay on the point, pretty much. And that's, the doctor's not going to be told, especially
in reality, we know that's not going to happen anyway, because otherwise we wouldn't have a show.
Exactly.
They got to do that.
I do think these episodes are very connected, though, aren't they? Not just this week and next week with it following straight upon, but I mean, they really are putting in that arc quite a bit, even though we didn't see the vault this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jamie Matheson in the Reddit, once again, he revealed that that his blindness should last the rest of the series.
Can we also talk about the fact that if Nardole is a robot, why does he need air to breathe?
Like I said, he could be a cyborg.
The head's organic. Yeah. The head's organic. The body is metal. He chose his face. He said.
If the head's organic, babe, why did he mention about changing his face?
Because he's Walter Gummidge in disguise.
Well, I don't know. It's obviously something he did, because he said, well, what have you got here that's worth stealing? Because if it was up to me, I would just kill you all and then steal the stuff. By saying this out loud. There were some good humour aspects for it. But I don't know, maybe it was just me. I felt that like the doctor's talk at the start about what happens when you're in space and everything like that, and lo and behold, he's trapped out in space. It just seemed a bit too, a little bit of false foreshadowing. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit heavy on that aspect.
To be fair, though, this is intended for ages 6, 7, and up or whatever. So I mean, you do have to kind of spell it out for younger kids, I guess.
I know, but I think the general consensus is if you took your helmet off in space, you might die.
They made a joke out of it.
Letting a 6-year-old watch that episode.
But they made a joke out of it by him saying, this is what's going to happen to you. And then, of course, he's not even supposed to be talking about that. It's supposed to be about crop rotation or something.
Yeah, but none of his lectures are about what he's actually supposed to be teaching.
I mean, I do agree with a point that Will made. Is sort of like, how Jamie Matheson does like to tie stuff together. Because the company in this was called Ganymede Systems. If you think about it, there's Ganymede Universal Systems, then it's Gus, which was the thing on the train, on the Mummy on the Orient Express.
Very good.
Whether they're trying to make sort of like little scientific... There has been lots of like scientific in-jokes, I think, through the course of this. What's it called? The Ganymede is the 9th biggest thing, not the 10th, in the solar system. It has a metallic iron core. You never know. It could just be like making in-jokes as you've gone, because there has been the outpost that you had in Smile. They're all sort of... There has been science-based gags within this. Whether that's something that's intentional or accidental, I don't know.
And everyone's forgotten the destruction of the sonic screwdriver.
What did you point him out?
Remember, he got a table full of them, man.
Yeah, no.
It's back next week anyway.
It was just nice to see that. And then, of course, the reference to the first Doctor with for that fluid link palaver. So
yes. Good one, Philip.
All right.
And before the canonicity piece,
have we done the out of 10 marks yet? Or
no.
Pay attention.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. Have we not done that yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, before the canonicity people go crazy, maybe the TARDIS back when they first got it couldn't run without the fluid link, but God knows how many modifications have been done to it.
Right.
God knows how many years since then. So
he would have bypassed it anyway.
I think that they deliberately throw lines in like that to piss people off. Sorry, you did.
No,
it could be just a joke.
I guess we're making a hubbub out of it for some stupid ass reason.
What else are they going to do? They have nothing to do but talk shit about everything that they see.
Like temporal grace circuits and everything.
Has the sonic screwdriver before been able to provide a force field of any kind? I don't recall that.
It's a fun device. It does whatever they want it to.
Yeah. No, I know.
He expanded the TARDIS's force field He just used the sonic screwdriver to expand it.
Boost it,
Yeah.
boost it, yeah.
Yeah.
He could
That's all he
spray
did.
if he wanted to, probably.
It's not a force field. It's not a force field. It's just basically, if you think about how big the TARDIS is and the volume of air it contains, if he opens it and there's an absence of air, then it sort of it fills the void. It fills the vacuum where
Expands the shell.
Yeah. So that's it. It's not creating a force field. It's not doing a doohickey. It's just osmosis, boys and girls.
You've seen the same thing with he was holding Amy Pond when she was just floating in space.
Remember when he moved the front door forward in the Horns of Nimon because they wanted to get from the TARDIS to the ship, but they couldn't land on it or something like that.
Yeah, that's the traction. That was the tractor field, wasn't it?
Something like that. That's what I mean. The TARDIS is a plot. I mean, the screwdriver is a plot device that can do anything they need him to at the moment he needs to do it. That's pretty much what it is. So. Sorry to be a buzzkill.
Yeah.
the magic wand.
I really agree with Beef's point though about you don't need to be that hard with your politics. It's not like that. The Doctor should be above world politics, So this whole anti-capitalist message doesn't really belong on this.
The idea of sticking it to the suit. Yeah.
It's actually, if you think about it, it's probably 9 years too late. That recession was about 08.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, that's beside the point. In other words, he's never really. Like even when Barry Letts was the showrunner and he's a big Buddhist, he would put all that stuff in there if you caught it, but he wasn't like trying to lecture the audience. That's what I don't like. Is when they
I would have loved the internet to be ruined when Planet of Spiders first aired, man.
Exactly.
Just for shits and giggles, I'll tell you.
Well, I'll say
it,
that I was actually worried about with this. I was actually when I heard that there was something about suits being more valuable than humans and something about facing a deadly enemy, I thought, sounds like the enemy's going to be capitalism, and when I saw the episode, oh god, yeah, it's capitalism.
Well, I mean, it's made by the BBC. That's a corporation, so it's like, that's a little incongruous to do that.
A bunch of assholes.
They're not funded the same way, mate. They're funded by a license fee.
That's a whole nother conversation. But we've already had this sort of thing, I think, and it was done more elegantly in Thin Ice, where you had the idea of how a civilization is measured, but is by the way
that was done kind of shitty, to be fair.
No, but it is how you judge a society, a civilization.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of, and now you're judging a business or how it's run by how it treats its workers and everything like that. You're rehashing a point that's already been made earlier in the series, and it was done far more eloquently.
To be fair, it was a different writer.
I don't know if anyone else felt the same way, but I just felt that the survivors on the ship, I didn't really care about them, to be honest with you. It's sort of like, you know the bit at the start when it's got like, and I'm gonna have a baby with you, and you can't.
You're dead. Yeah.
And then at the end of it, it's sort of like it's the dead corpse of his girlfriend who he was gonna probably have children with, giving him her oxygen because she doesn't need it because she's dead, and he looks at her. He looks at the dead. It looks like necrophilia. He's looking at her.
Hang on. So ironically, she's giving him one last blow.
Well, but it does. It does. It looks just like it's sort of like maybe things could still work between us.
Maybe if I throw her in the microwave for a couple of minutes.
Oh, that's a low blow. Oh,
yeah. Well, giving her his oxygen is a low blow. Okay, like I said, there was a great. I love the comedy at the beginning. That really caught me. If that's not crisp, you're sad.
Oh, that is the line of the episode. I thought I sent you to Birmingham for a packet of crisps. Yeah, why not?
I saw through your clever ruse.
I'm pretty sure the canteen has some, but why not?
I think that works well though, because remember in the other episode, he was like, it's mom, that's the way he sees Nardole, is just this nagging person that will never leave him alone and let him do what he wants.
Nardole is basically the Doctor's parent at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or even with the lecture.
Either that, or he's either somehow the Doctor's got all senile and Nardole's his child or something. But he's looking after him that way.
But even the Doctor with the lecture, he drew a skull on the board.
Oh yeah,
cool. He was pretty dark. I mean, that went pretty dark.
Yeah.
But I did think that the foray into zombies was needed because I mean it's
No zombies.
They looked like zombies. They looked like White Walkers.
But that was the point. Doctor Who doesn't need to do zombies at all, ever. Period. I mean, it's just it's so tiresome at this point. Everybody does zombies.
Yes, so tiresome. The Walking Dead gets an average of 10 to 15 million viewers.
Well,
but the doctor also does vampires.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean the Waters of Mars was a zombie based story.
Yeah, but everybody does zombies at some point. Every director at some point has, like either movies, TV, whatever, has done zombies at some point or in some way.
I don't remember them. I was about to ask, however, has anyone actually done space zombies before? Because we've sometimes heard the concept of space zombies as a joke. Has anyone actually done space zombies before? And
No, that's the point.
Mars got mentioned.
They subverted the format, and they weren't zombies. They were just dead bodies stuck in suits. They weren't controlling the suits. Suits were controlling them.
It wasn't zombies that were villains. It was basically the suits. They were trying to.
But once again, the suits were doing what they were programmed to do. They weren't going haywire. That's what they were programmed to do. So it's actually, once again, it falls back to the corporation that programmed them.
No, actually, I say I didn't see the ending coming. That I did see coming. When they said that a virus was sent through our computer, through our suits, and they're going here, I thought, given the message of this episode, it's gonna be
these humans who was on the spaceport. They've been there for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
So like I was saying, so. In order for them to
decompose.
No. I'm saying that means for them to have oxygen, they're always gotta have the suit on.
Yeah. They said that in the story.
I was just saying. So what happened when they're going to eat and sleep and stuff like that?
The suit would do that. The suit would help them with that. So if they have to go to the bathroom, they'd never take it off. The suit would recycle it.
Yeah.
They had a pooper scooper.
I'm just gonna say, sorry.
Would it have been better if those suits didn't have that kind of Cyberman type stomping feet thing and be silent?
Well, they wasn't stomping because there's a magnet under it.
Okay, fair enough. I forgot about that.
In a way, it did. When they were marching down the hallway, it did kind of remind me of like the March of the Cybermen kind of deal going on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, from the moon base.
Yeah,
those boots were really cool. I'd wear those.
Yeah.
And once again, it had a Star Trek connection, like the whole
TV show
Klingon, like the magnetic boots in Star Trek 6.
Oh, thank God Kim Cattrall wasn't in it.
Also, talking about the doors don't hiss and
the space, the final frontier.
Yep.
Oh, yes. I completely forgot about that.
Space.
Can I just say there were some outside scenes. Am I right in thinking that it was only the boots that were making any sound as opposed to everything else? Because if they did, then there's one part where they got some proper science factor that there is genuinely no sound in space.
Yeah.
But then fucked it up with the boots.
Yeah.
Well, the boots would clang against the hull. You see.
They have to do that.
But there'd still be no sound. This is the outside of it. There'd still be no sound in space.
No, they would clang against the hull because the metal itself would resonate the sound of the boots hitting the hull. But the sound would not travel through space itself. Like you wouldn't be able to hear it at a distance because there's no air for the sound waves to travel. But as a
Firefly's lying.
The sound would be conducted.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were good on the science. That you would if you were right up close, you would hear the clang because of the sound resonating through the metal.
Within a couple of feet, you would hear it.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, you wouldn't hear it.
Well, but then shouldn't have Bill died because her helmet was off in the vacuum of space and all that?
No. I'll do the physics for this. If you breathe out while you're in space, you're creating a negative pressure in your chest. So you're not having a higher pressure in your body, and you're not going to go. That's
by the way,
so much you can breathe out. You go, but you can't do it again.
If you breathe out slowly.
Well,
and by the way, you'll also see a reference to this in a little movie called Event Horizon.
Right.
Yes.
When the outer hatch was going to open, he told him the first thing to do was to take a big puff and blow all the air out of your lungs. And close your eyes.
That's how Baby Bear lived.
Yeah, Baby Bear. You're right.
Baby Bear, yeah. There you go, kids. Every day's a school day on the Omega Files.
So yes, it's been covered in another thing. I don't know if then again you couldn't really call Event Horizon a zombie story. It was more like a horror altogether. But
Yeah, a little bit of zombie.
No, it was more of a precursor to Silent Hill.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, again, that's the other thing because she did have some marking or some bruising on her face.
Yeah.
Well, excuse her for being flammable.
It could be a side effect of the poison, or it could just be because the thing was that the guy prior to that looked like he was electrocuted.
Right.
Yeah, the blue fella and the other fella, and I was wondering, Darren, whether it was an electrical burn or something like that.
It was the suit destroying their nervous system, is what it said, right?
Yeah.
You probably would see those sparks and stuff. It looks slightly different when it happened to Bill.
But obviously with Bill, it's like some sort of poison and everything like that. And, hey, we can flick a switch and she comes back to life. She's a walking, talking.
Hold on. They didn't use the word poison, did they?
No.
Yeah, they did. They did.
No, they didn't.
Battery
It was an
and
electrical charge.
Okay, so that would mean the battery then. So
yeah, it was an electrical charge that ran through the nervous system, shorting it out, killing them.
In other words, I think the doctor knew that it wasn't strong enough to kill her. It might injure her temporarily. To be fair, I think that's a risk he shouldn't be taking because it could get rid of her.
No. He actually he covered that in the story too. He says he noticed the charge in the suit was low.
Yeah. Well, also, one other thing I did want to mention was I was glad that they got Bill's reaction to seeing her first proper alien. It wasn't just the
Blue Man Group.
Yeah, it caught her off guard. I loved her reaction. It was very well acted.
Well, they had blue aliens in Blake 7 too, but that's another show.
Oh my God!
They had blue guys in Star Trek too. They were the Orions. Not the Orions, but the it'll hit me. The Andorians were blue, but they also had antennas. All right.
Yeah, they were really cool looking.
And they could pick up UHF. All right.
Well, I agree with Tim, though, that the anti-racism message was a bit heavy-handed. I don't think they need to be that on the nose when it comes to this kind of stuff. Just you can infer that and make it an uncomfortable moment for the alien and Bill, but then just move on from it. You don't have to say, oh, well, usually I'm the one that's discriminated against because I'm. And he's like, why?
That's the part that did actually really.
Didn't last too long. Throughout the whole episode all night.
I think that what they're trying to conveying is maybe, racism amongst color, in humans in the future isn't that common.
It shouldn't be now.
It was the fact he was a different race is what he was, completely like a different alien.
Different species.
Yeah, it's a first alien, so she's going to react that way.
So when she reacted like that, he's like, so big deal. It's like, that's no biggie here,
Yeah, the only thing is, I wonder whether this is sort of like also you have the companion's journey and everything like that. That this is the one perhaps where she's on a thing that it's mortal danger that neither she nor the doctor. There is a potential for them not to get away from because that is an encounter she hasn't had yet within the course of the show. You've had all the other sort of progressions to it. I suppose that's what the purpose of this episode might have been, aside from obviously getting us to point whatever for what we need to have with the doctor not having his sight for next episode. One other thing that I did notice, there's always like clever nods or little tidbits teasing towards the sort of what's coming next. And if you look, I think it's something I mentioned to you guys last night, the book that Bill's looking through is a book on Leonardo da Vinci, who did all the artwork in the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican when there's the tete between Nardo and the Doctor. And also obviously Galileo discovered Ganymede, who was at odds with the Vatican about the idea of the earth being flat.
Hang on. Am I tripping, or was it not Michelangelo done the ceiling in the chapel?
Oh, sorry.
Do I need to take notes?
Sorry, Leonardo.
That's what I was just thinking.
Sorry, not Leonardo, sorry.
Yeah, because that was covered in yet another Big Finish audio.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Galileo was at odds as well with the Vatican. But
where the Fifth Doctor meets the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shameless plug. But go on.
It's not a bad story.
What was the name of it?
It was the
Shameless. Technically, we are talking about
Time of Angels? No, wait, that was a Matt Smith one. Fallen Angel.
Hang on.
Fallen Angels.
Fallen Angels.
Thank you very much. I couldn't recall the title off the top of my head. Thank you. There we go. So interesting stuff going on. Anything else that you want to cover?
Does it not seem that they're really trying to have a sort of classic series feel to these episodes? I mean, there was like a cliffhanger every 10 minutes in the episode itself. Not that they actually, you know, had the credits come up, but it seemed like if this had been done in the old-fashioned format, it would have worked if it had a little bit more space, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You never really get a chance to get a grip in any of the characters, really, apart from the three main characters. You never become attached to anybody, so if they die, you give a monkeys, which I find bad, but there's only 45 minutes or 50 minutes, so you have to allow for that.
To be fair, I agree with Beef. I mean, I didn't really care for the principal survivors, but I thought they were a bit more tolerant in the plot than the ones in Smile were. So,
yeah.
You know.
Well, I think they have the advantage of having more screen time. In Smile, they throw those people in the last 10 minutes,
7
basically.
seconds, yes.
They went to head office and spoke them.
But never heard from again.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm going to complain to your manager. Yeah, right.
They did the same thing at the end of the Rebel Flesh. What are the Almost people? They dropped them off of that, dropped the one lady off of that commission or whatever it was. To go file a complaint. You know what's going to happen to them. You don't screw with Big Brother.
It's all about the color of your shirt.
Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
I was going to say it's all about the color of your shirt, the color of it.
Well, no,
blue collar, white collar.
Didn't Capaldi say that, that was the end of the corporate way, and then after 5 years, the humanity makes another error or something or another?
No, it says that there was a societal uprising,
Yeah, full of capitalism. That was actually another, again, the hard-hitting pushing the hard.
It kind of echoes what happens in the Alien series as well, when they doesn't really care about the people that work for them. They just want what they want. We'll trick them into doing whatever it is they
I
need.
thought this episode was very conveniently timed with the fact that the Alien movie came out of it.
Wayland Yutani Corporation.
Well, I haven't seen the Covenant movie, but that's okay.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, I haven't bothered to watch it. It's just they're kind of dragging it out now. It's like, but okay. Anything else before we rate it and put it to bed?
Roll on next week. I want to see the Pope.
Then I'll declare this session closed. All right, let's go ahead. We'll start with Texas Tim. Out of 10, how do you rate Oxygen?
I'll give it an 8. It was an enjoyable episode, but a little bit heavy with its political messaging.
Okay, Graham. Out of 10.
I'll concur with the beard. The weird in there. I also give it an 8. Enjoyable enough.
Nightwing.
I'm gonna go with a 0.5. Like, I really didn't enjoy this episode much. I mean, the only thing I enjoyed, like I said earlier, was Nardole. I know I don't want to keep us going much longer, but I was talking to Phil earlier, and I said there was one episode from season 2 of when it came, from Tennant's first series, that I preferred, and people do not like for some strange reason.
If you say fear her, I'm going to smack you.
Love and Monsters. I prefer Love and Monsters over this episode.
Get out of here!
Nothing.
Don't listen to me if you think that was a good episode.
No. In all fairness, he's certainly entitled to his opinion.
Maybe.
I grew up watching that episode. Okay.
I don't think I'll ever see anything bad as Love and Monsters, but
hey, this episode was bad. This last episode was this Oxygen was bad. So if I'm rating Love and Monsters higher than Oxygen, there is a
okay. I got one that's worse than all of them. How about Sleep No More?
Oh yes.
I don't know. Fear Her still goes below.
At the end of the day, it's all opinions, and all of them are valid. So
maybe we should get back to the rating of this episode.
Yeah, let's go. Let's keep going. Doctor Commentator out of 10.
I thought it was great, but I'm going to give it a 7 for pretty much the same reasons Tim has said. Over, I thought it was a great episode, but it's a bit too much politics.
Okay, William.
Sorry, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It was a great story, and Nightwing, man, you nuts, man. Go lay it next somewhere. I don't know where you're going.
Okay, B-Fed out of 10.
I'm going to speak to you now with Fork Cam. If I want to refer to something that the Doctor said earlier in the series. You don't argue with your food because their perspective is different when they're at the end of the fork. So I thought I'd use fork cam. I've had enough of these now. I want to have a villain that is a villain now. We've had all of these ones where everything's misunderstood. It's not the suits that are bad, it's the corporation. This seemed quite heavy and laden. It was just a case of the points were just heavy, and it was a blunt instrument rather than being a skilled finesse thing. Going back to this other thing, going back to my other camera, it's a case of his previous other episodes were done more stylishly. So, I mean, to bring back, obviously, the patented beef board, it left me with some of these, really. For want of a better description, blue balls. It was the one, look, if you can make a really bad Spaceballs gag like you don't look bluish, some of my best friends are bluish, I can make this joke, okay?
Yeah, why not?
So
Yeah.
for me, it's a 6.0. It's somewhat disappointing. I hoped for better. It was okay, but it just seems to be a plot device and a filler. I hope that he comes back and maybe isn't less burdened.
Well, he's burdened now with no eyesight.
Talking about Matheson.
Okay, Susan and Alex.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go half higher than all of you guys because you guys are going a little low for me. I am gonna say 8.5 to start to rate this whole episode. I loved the interplay and I loved all of the little nods to Star Trek. It was the fact that it was like that much crossover bliss was delightful. And so yeah, that's my rating. Here's Alex.
Again, I agree with what Beef said. The politics were heavy-handed. However, I know a lot of people that would say the classic Who, the politics was very heavy-handed, and the allegory might be a little heavy-handed. I think it should have been done subtler. That is true. I think the story wasn't great, but I kind of wonder if it was just, let's try to have a science fiction romp in like two parts of the ship, a little bit outside, and just everybody sort of react to whatever is happening. Because it didn't seem very thought out. So I'm kind of wondering if they're trying to keep it where, the reaction of the audience, the reaction to the story, and the cast is what matters, not having a really well thought out or well resolved story. But I mean, as usual, the cast is, wonderful. So, it's a little bit of, everything, and it is a pastiche, and Doctor Who's always been a pastiche of different stories, and part of science fiction is, you make an allegory, even though the allegory was heavy-handed. But I'll give it on the execution and the acting, I'll give it a 9. The execution, I'll probably give it a 6.5.
Okay, what is it, Nightwing?
I was going to say, I was thinking this episode should have definitely been a two-parter. I know they're not really going to do two-parters much, but or maybe, I don't know. But like they could have. There is two-parters.
No, the next 3 episodes are supposed to all tie into each other. 6, 7.
Okay. Well, no. What I was saying is like they should have had. When Bill not fainted or passed out, they should have had a bit in between there, and then carried on with the rest of it in the second part. That's probably why I didn't enjoy it, because it was just a bit, maybe a bit too fast for me, for my liking.
I'm sorry, Beef, but the Blue Parrot sketch, or it's dead. It's an ex-kitten. It is deceased.
Wake up, kitty! Wake up!
You can run 20,000 bloody volts through it. It's not going to do anything. It's dead.
Somebody get the paddles.
Yeah, it has joined the choir invisible.
Oh, by the way, just to reassure you, the kitten was actually CGI that died, the CGI, so it's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I tried to do it with my kids. Mrs. Beef wouldn't allow it.
It's a dead computerized kitten. Okay, so I don't know.
Back to
Just
racy.
put a message at the end of the video.
And guaranteed it won't go to waste. It'll taste delicious.
You know what it is, kids? It's a couple of Neopets. There you go.
We have a fully qualified kitten wrangler for this episode.
Yeah.
Back to racing.
One question though: how long are you gonna cook the kitty for? You really don't want to get the pussy too hot.
Adult language is contained.
And you really and please don't boil it, because hot wet pussy can be good in some cases, but
just ask Glenn Close.
Talking about cats, by the way, you dirty pervert.
Those are buddies.
That was buddies, yeah.
Oh my God.
Duty.
I just hope that cat ain't stuck in there, because tight pussy can be good.
Oh dear.
In moments like this, we need villain hot chips.
And baked pussy is definitely not a good option. But
he digresses. Yeah.
Just don't leave it in there too long, because smelly pussy is even worse.
Oh.
All right, let's move on to AJ. Out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give this story an 8 out of 10. The science behind the story, being in space and whatnot, was brilliant. The story itself is okay, but, the repercussions of probably being blind, let's see where that goes from there.
Okay, Philip.
Oh, I'm going to give it a 7.5, because I found it a bit less grabby. You know what? I grabbed my story that keeps you going, wow, this is good. It just plodded along for me, basically.
Feel like some grabby.
Yeah, I do. I wanted a bit more octane from it, and it didn't really deliver that for me. The idea that the Doctor's now blind, I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles that in the next couple of stories. And, that's all I can say about the story episode, really.
Stevie Wonder and the TARDIS, yeah.
At least no one got brainwashed.
Yeah.
And I'll give this, I'll just say 7.5. There you go.
Yeah.
And we should also mention that Philip doesn't like pussy at all.
But
Kevin, out of 10.
Well, I'm going to give this story an 8.5 out of 10, because I really liked it. And everything was really cool, and can't wait for next week.
And Kevin's from the land of pussy.
Why? They have a lot of cats there?
Oh, probably can go window shopping for them.
Graham, calm.
Oh, okay, Callan, out of 10. How do you rate this one?
I'm going to rate it 8. And since the Doctor's blind, it's me. Need a return to Kong. We may have to return to the Sisterhood and get Alexa to make it eyes better. But anyway,
I think O'Healy still pissed at him, but there you go.
Well, sure. I'll give him.
Yeah, I'm going to put this one as a 7.
Especially Alexa pussy. No, I shouldn't say.
Now, what is this?
It's a pussy festival. Okay.
What is this?
Okay, I'm giving this one a 7. The villain, the characters are good, but everybody did a great job. The humor was in the right place. The suspense was phenomenal. But frankly, I'm getting sick of the lack of actual villains.
Yeah.
Sure, you had the one bad news business guy, and then once again, that's capitalism. You got robots doing what they're programmed to do. That's just circumstance by capitalism.
Yeah.
And then, poor creature being exploited, capitalism. I want an actual villain. I want it's just that's one thing I think it was lacking.
Well, you got Missy next week, so she'll be a villain.
Yeah,
not just that.
Villain.
Not just that. Do you think maybe they're just saving it all for the other half of the series, because they do have the Cybermen coming as well? We know them. So it's just
from here. Does that mean we're going to get the villains from pretty much now on, like main villains, or is it we're just going to have like one's like?
That's what I was saying. I think you're right that there's a bit of sameness to a couple of these stories, but as the series progresses, I think you're going to get some. At least like Philip pointed out, you're going to get Missy. You're going to get Cybermen. So we'll see where they're going with this.
Find out.
It's a very arc-heavy series, isn't it?
All I think we could say is just wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it, AJ? You got your hand up.
I was going to say, we're going to have the biggest villain in the entire world next week, religion.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, The Pope is in the TARDIS.
Oh, that sounds more like more heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week
I
they
wasn't
have to
thinking
resist
of that.
the pull of the Darkhold. I mean, the Necromancer. I mean, the Veritas.
Are we getting Bruce Campbell? No.
Yes. An evil book that is driving people mad and making them kill themselves if they
The
read.
Watchtower. Yeah.
They should do a crossover. I say almost a crossover with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, they did a Star Trek crossover
Your
today,
evil-
so that was
your-
good.
That wasn't a crossover, dude. Your evil book isn't nearly as evil as mine.
Dude.
I can just imagine Kelly in the TARDIS with a gun.
No.
Oh, that'd be good.
No. They can never ever do a crossover, with Ash Army of Darkness, because the last thing I want to frickin' see is Dead-Eyed Adric. Okay.
Ooh, ouch.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't have mind seeing him just so he can get tree banged and killed again.
And by the way, Adric doesn't like pussy either. But
Hey.
All right, good. What is this? Are you being served?
All right, stop all the pussy jokes, okay? I just ask you to please stop, you guys.
Welcome.
Okay, Mrs. Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ending this now or something?
is it okay if I sing a small song?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I'm at the barn playing with my cock.
Brickleberry.
Oh yeah, we're getting a PG-13 slash song.
I think it's time we get the hell out of here, folks.
If I sing any of my songs, you won't be able to publish this.
Next week we have the Doctor getting called by none other than the big power on the planet Earth, the Vatican.
You can hear it, Robert Langdon. Yeah.
Also,
that's pretty good.
And according to the More Hair Mofat, I guess is when the vault gets opened.
Yes.
Also, plainly from the trailer, we have an appearance of Missy.
Mm-hmm.
So, really looking forward to next week, seeing what Missy's got to do with this, what's going on with this book, and how it leads into the next two following episodes. So,
I think she got nothing to do with next week's episode. She's going to pop up in the end. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
Yondu has taken over her title as Mary Poppins.
So will the Gallifreyan ring beat the Vatican ring? Tune in next week to find out.
That's a shite joke, Alex.
I know.
Until next week.
Yeah.
Remember, if you have stray pussy outside, be sure to feed it.
Stop with the pussy jokes, man.
Yeah, ironically, the gay man's offended.
Hey, that's a pretty good.
Wow, we're gonna have to put the.